what's going on.
The judge also said Henyard could be held in contempt of court if
Tiffany Henyard, mayor of Dolton, Illinois, is facing significant legal and political challenges as her leadership in both Dolton and Thornton Township comes under intense scrutiny. Court rulings and federal investigations have revealed a range of allegations, including unlawful appointments and financial mismanagement, sparking growing public discontent. In a critical legal setback, a Cook County judge recently issued a temporary restraining order that blocked 3 of Henyard's top appointees from taking office. These appointees, including a new police chief, village administrator, and village attorney, were appointed by Henyard without proper approval from the Dolton Village trustees. The court ruled that Henyard lacked the legal authority to make these appointments unilaterally, as village law requires trustee approval for such decisions. This ruling marks a serious blow to Henyard's administration. It follows a series of legal challenges brought by Dolton trustees, who accused the mayor of overstepping her authority. The trustees argued that Henyard's controversial appointments violated established governance procedures, and the court agreed. Judge Thaddeus Wilson, who presided over the case, emphasized that Henyard cannot bypass legal requirements, saying, "The mayor has to follow the law and can't make appointments from her house." The restraining orders effectively prevent the 3 appointees from performing any official duties within the village, casting doubt on the future of Henyard's administration. The legal dispute has intensified political tensions in Dolton, as a divided board of trustees continues to challenge Henyard's authority. 4 trustees opposed to the mayor spearheaded the legal complaints, further deepening the divide within the village's leadership. Beyond Dolton, Henyard is also grappling with a federal investigation tied to her role as Thornton Township supervisor. The investigation, which began in April 2024, is focused on potential corruption and mismanagement within the township. Federal authorities have issued subpoenas seeking a wide array of documents related to Henyard's actions as township supervisor. These documents include employment records, financial reports, and communications connected to the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, as well as contracts involving several individuals and organizations linked to Henyard's political and business dealings. The scope of the federal investigation is extensive. Authorities are reportedly scrutinizing township budgets, board meeting minutes, and records associated with multiple vendors and law firms. Additionally, they are seeking documentation related to trips Henyard and her team took to Springfield, Washington, D.C., and Las Vegas, raising questions about the nature and funding of these travels. The subpoenas have sparked widespread concern among residents of Thornton Township, many of whom have grown increasingly vocal in their opposition to Henyard's leadership. A series of protests and public meetings have taken place, with residents calling for Henyard's resignation. Community members have expressed frustration over what they perceive as a lack of transparency and accountability in her administration. Thornton Township residents, in particular, have rallied around the slogan, "Take our township back," as they voice concerns about the misuse of public resources and the ongoing federal investigation. Meanwhile, Henyard's tenure as both Dolton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor has become mired in controversy. Legal rulings and federal probes have cast a shadow over her political career, raising questions about her ability to effectively lead the 2 municipalities. Public trust in her administration has eroded as more details about the subpoenas and legal filings have come to light. The federal investigation appears to be leaving no stone unturned. Investigators are reportedly focusing on Henyard's handling of township resources and are examining financial documents linked to the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation. The foundation, which Henyard established, has come under scrutiny for its financial dealings, with federal authorities investigating whether public funds were misused for personal or political purposes. Henyard's legal troubles have significantly undermined her standing with the public. As court rulings and federal investigations continue, her future in public office remains uncertain. With mounting legal challenges and increasing public discontent, Henyard faces an uphill battle to retain her political positions. Residents of both Dolton and Thornton Township are demanding change, and many have called for Henyard to step down to allow for a fresh start in local leadership.
At work today. As for that court order, this is a major win for those trustees who have been up against Henyard for some time.
Measures to cap spending, enforce travel guidelines for elected officials, and limit salaries citing concerns over Henyard's alleged misuse of township funds. However, none of these proposals made it onto the meeting agenda, sparking further tension between Henyard and the trustees. Adding to the turmoil, Henyard's actions in Dolton have drawn public outrage. Protests have erupted in both Dolton and Thorndon Township, with residents demanding more transparency and accountability. In response, Henyard has attempted to defend her administration's actions, claiming that she is the target of a coordinated attack by the Board of Trustees. However, these claims have done little to quell the growing public discontent. One of the most striking moments in this saga occurred in September 2024, when Henyard, despite lacking the necessary legal authority, declared that Keith Price had been fired as village administrator. This declaration was made at a board meeting where no formal vote had taken place, reflecting Henyard's disregard for legal protocols. Her attempts to consolidate power have raised serious ethical and legal concerns, with many residents and officials questioning her commitment to following the rules of governance. As the situation in Dolton continues to evolve, Henyard's legal and political troubles show no signs of abating. The temporary restraining order against her appointees has left a significant power vacuum within the village's government, and Henyard's efforts to bypass the trustees have only deepened the divide. Michael Smith, Angela Lockett, and Ronnie Burge, all of whom were appointed without the board's approval, are now effectively barred from their roles, leaving Dolton in a state of administrative chaos. Meanwhile, Henyard's legal battles in Thorndon Township, including the $3 million lawsuit brought by Gerald Jones, have only added to the pressure. Federal investigations into potential mismanagement and corruption within the township are ongoing, with subpoenas issued for a wide range of documents related to Henyard's political and business dealings. In conclusion, Tiffany Henyard's leadership as mayor of Dolton and supervisor of Thorndon Township is under intense scrutiny. Her legal challenges, including the court-ordered restraining orders in Dolton and the federal investigations into her role in Thorndon Township, have severely undermined her political standing. Public protests and mounting legal setbacks have left her administration in disarray, with growing calls for her resignation. As legal proceedings continue and the investigations unfold, Henyard faces an uncertain political future, with the possibility of further legal consequences on the horizon.
Don Andrew Holmes has been a familiar face in Chicago for many years for his work as a community activist helping crime victims and police. But now, Holmes is being accused of sexual assault in a lawsuit filed late last night by a former employee of the village of Dolton.
Frustration and legal troubles after being appointed supervisor of Thorndon Township in March 2022. Henyard quickly positioned loyal allies in key township roles. Among these appointees was Keith Price, who became the manager of the food assistance program at the local pantry. Gerald Jones, a longtime employee of Thorndon Township, soon found himself at odds with Price. Jones alleges that Price's primary goal was to eliminate staff members who didn't align with Henyard's strict loyalty demands. This type of culture, in which dissent is punished and loyalty rewarded, has become characteristic of Henyard's leadership style. Between March 2022 and January 2023, Jones faced escalating mistreatment and threats from Price. Price, known for his unprofessional and degrading comments toward both Jones and other employees, fostered a toxic work environment. The situation reached a boiling point in December 2022 when Jones discovered a mouse infestation at the food pantry, a serious health hazard. Despite bringing this issue to the attention of the authorities, the problem was not adequately addressed. In fact, when Jones escalated the matter to the state level, the retaliation against him intensified in January 3, 2023. Frustrated by the lack of action, Jones officially reported the situation. A response letter from Illinois authorities claimed the issue had been resolved. However, after learning of the formal complaint, Price's mistreatment of Jones worsened. In February 2023, Price allegedly made a threatening remark to Jones, witnessed by other pantry workers, suggesting they settle matters outside. This verbal threat was part of a larger pattern of intimidation that Jones claims led to his decision to leave the township in April 2023. In his lawsuit, Jones accuses Price of retaliatory discharge, mistreatment, and creating a hostile work environment. He also alleges that Henyard, as the leader of Thorndon Township, either ignored or condoned this behavior. Henyard's leadership in the township has become synonymous with a lack of oversight and transparency, fostering a culture of retaliation against employees who raise ethical concerns. Jones is now seeking damages for lost income, emotional distress, and other consequences of the township's retaliatory actions. This lawsuit, which demands $3 million, has been a major point of discussion at township meetings. Notably, the township nearly lost the case by default due to the absence of legal representation in court. The failure of the township to send a representative to such a significant lawsuit raises serious questions about the leadership and organization under Henyard's administration. Meanwhile, in Dolton, Henyard faces additional legal and political challenges stemming from her controversial appointments of Michael Smith as village administrator, Ronnie Burge as police chief, and Angela Lockett as village attorney. These appointments were made without the necessary approval of the Board of Trustees, triggering a temporary restraining order. This legal block has not only frustrated Henyard, but has also cast a shadow over her leadership in Dolton. The legal dispute over these appointments reflects a broader power struggle within Dolton's government. Henyard's unilateral decisions have been criticized as overreach, with multiple trustees and residents questioning her commitment to transparency and proper governance. The restraining order issued against her appointees represents a significant legal setback, with a Cook County judge ruling that Henyard did not have the authority to make such appointments without board approval. As a result, Smith, Burge, and Lockett have been prevented from performing their duties within the village. The controversy around these appointments is compounded by allegations that Henyard has been using public resources for personal gain. During a recent board meeting, trustees proposed investigations and legal proceedings unfold. The spotlight on Henyard's leadership will only intensify. The outcome of these probes could have lasting implications not only for Henyard, but also for the future governance of both Dolton and Thorndon Township. For now, her political survival remains in jeopardy, with growing calls for accountability and transparency defining the public discourse. Tiffany Henyard is visibly frustrated, as evidenced by a post she shared just hours ago. Her anger is tied to recent events in Dolton, where her controversial appointments of Michael Smith as village administrator, Ronnie Burge as police chief, and Angela Lockett as village attorney have caused an uproar. A court recently issued a temporary restraining order blocking these appointments, further fueling Henyard's frustration. Let's explore why this situation has her so upset. Before diving into the specifics of these appointments, it's important to touch on another legal issue Henyard is dealing with, a $3 million lawsuit involving Thorndon Township. This lawsuit, which came up during a recent township meeting, nearly resulted in a default loss due to the township lacking legal representation in court. The case centers on accusations against Keith Price, with allegations that he threatened and intimidated employees, claims that Henyard is accused of ignoring. The lawsuit was filed by Gerald Jones, the son of a township trustee who previously worked for Thorndon Township. Jones is suing the township, Keith Price, and Tiffany Henyard for a range of grievances, including retaliatory discharge. He claims that after reporting a rodent infestation at the township's food assistance program to a superior, he was subjected to threats, mistreatment, and retaliation from the program's manager, Keith Price. Jones worked for Thorndon Township for nearly a decade, and in his lawsuit, he paints a picture of a toxic work environment overseen by Price and tolerated by Henyard. He alleges that the township fostered a culture of retaliation, especially against employees who tried to expose unethical practices. The lawsuit accuses both Price and Henyard of enabling a pattern of mistreatment, and it is expected to delve into the alleged misuse of power within the township. This case, combined with the restraining order blocking her appointments in Dolton, is placing increasing pressure on Henyard. She now faces legal battles on multiple fronts, with both her leadership and judgment under scrutiny. The allegations of workplace misconduct and the challenges to her authority in Dolton have significantly undermined her standing, leaving her to grapple with a growing number of legal and political setbacks. Tiffany Henyard, mayor of Dolton, Illinois, and Thorndon Township supervisor, is embroiled in significant controversy that has intensified in recent months. Her leadership has come under fire due to a series of legal and ethical challenges involving both her appointments in Dolton and her management of Thorndon Township. Let's delve into the details behind these developments and how they've contributed to Henyard's growing